A 65% keyboard with rotary knob, gasket mounting, good keycaps and switches, QMK via compatibility, and nice sounding with a price tag of just $40. The $50 budget keyboard segment just keeps on getting better and better. I used to be an avid hater of Royal Kludge keyboards. While RK keyboards were leading the trend of affordable mechanical keyboards in 2020, they came in with flaws, PCB issues, lackluster keycaps and switches, and traditional mounting style. In short, it was unreliable and slowly sidelined by the better budget keyboards in 2023. However, someone at Royal Kludge finally come into senses and boom, we have all these new keyboards from RK Lab. In my hand is the new RK R65. This is unlike any of those Royal Kludge keyboards we have seen earlier. This board was sent to me by Monarch IT for review. I have the RK R65's wired variant that costs just BDT 4300 or $40. Check the link in the description for more. Today, we'll be taking a deep dive into this keyboard and taking it apart, as well as my long-term usage experience. I will mostly talk about why this is better than the previous generation of RK keyboards. It has also another sibling called RK R75 that has same specs but in 75% form factor. So I guess this video will also cover that. The look of this keyboard is unlike any other RK keyboards we have seen earlier. Gone are the days of monotone black and white plastic cases with pretty low quality double shot ABS keycaps. Instead, RK went for this rounded dual tone thick ABS plastic case in various colorways and coupled that with matching MDA profile double shot PVD keycaps. These are pretty good looking and beautiful, are decently thick with nice texture, and they aren't going to shine out like the ones they had before. MDA profile keycaps are kinda in the middle of SA and XDA, pretty close to OEM in terms of height. While I like the OEM and cherry profile keycaps the most, this one shouldn't be a tough one to adopt. These are pretty nice to type on. The board is also complemented by this beautiful metal rotary knob at the top right. It can be used to control the volume. This time around, the PCB is a 5-pin hot swap with north-facing RGB LED supporting all MXS style switches out there for you to try. Gone are the days of these monstrosity hot swap sockets that were found in RK71, and instead they are JEERRZ. Anyways, I can't pronounce the name, but it's a clone of Kaylan Gateron. The PCB is 1.2mm, thinner than the standard ones, and along with flex cut. Although the board claims to support VIA, I guess not all the variants support that. Mine is probably the early variant, although I did try making it work but failed. Do make sure to get the variant while buying and you'll have the best software experience for a fraction of the budget. Otherwise, the board has an okay software to control the RGB and map secondary layer, which is needed for a small form factor board like this. This is a pretty good improvement. This also has a variant with tri-mode PCB that cost $50+. The board has native Mac mode, NKRO, and 1000Hz pulling rate as usual. The gasket mounting and plate materials are significant changes from the previous iterations. It uses silicon gasket socks for mounting, similar to the ones we see in QWERTY keyboards. Almost everyone is adapting it these days. These are mounted on a polycarbonate plate. So the whole combo of mounting style, plate, and flex cut PCB allows for a softer and more uniform tapping experience along with good acoustics. Also, there has been a great improvement in terms of switches too. Instead of the subpar Huano red browns, this time Royal Kludge has adopted for some decent pre-looped 5-pin switches. I'm using the variant with chartreuse switches, and in my opinion this is the best one. It has a palm stem and nylon blend housing and comes in factory looped. The actuation is at 2mm with 45 gram of force and bottom out is at 3.4mm with 55 gram of force. The spring is 18mm elongated one. So, what does all this translate into? Shorter bottom out means it will produce a nice high-pitched sound. Being pre-loop, it's nice to press. The force curve indicates that it's neither too light or too heavy, meaning it can be used for both typing and gaming as well for most of the folks. This coupled with the dampening materials used like case foam, case silicon, IXP sheet, plate foam, pet film, and tune stabs makes the board overall sound great. Before going into the sound test, I would ask you to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on coverage on great value keyboards like this. I have also opened my Discord server where you can interact with me and like-minded folks about keyboard. I will also be allowing various perks for the members and hosting giveaways over there, so make sure to join. Okay, now let's hear the sound test. Now, I cannot tell you how the other stock switches sound, but this one sounds nice with chartreuse and all the other switches I put in. The stabs didn't have any sort of rattling. But in my opinion, the RK R65 sound is a bit high-pitched for some. So, since the board is very easy to open, it's quite simple to mod and make it fuller, deeper and talky. Just insert the prying tool between the top and the bottom case and it should be easily opened. So as for the mod, I went for a 2-layer tape mod to cover the flex cut PCB. Stabs are already nicely tuned, so nothing more is needed. You can add some polyfill inside of the case instead of the foam, but I guess with all that, you will not have enough space to put any other things. Plus, it might reduce the flex as well, so do keep that in mind. With all that, let's hear the keyboard sound after the mod. I like the sound the board makes after mod. Of course, in stock the board sounds great, but I personally would suggest doing at least a tape mod down the line. It will help with the sound leaking due to the thinner flex cut PCB and overall make the board sound fuller. Now, about the cons. North-facing RGB LED could be downer for many. This has MDA profile keycaps though, so there shouldn't be any interference issues with the north-facing switches. Plus, the newer keycaps and switches have already solved this issue to begin with. Number 2, I've seen some folks facing issues with the keyboard after switching to Mac mode. Their keyboard went unresponsive, so this can be fixed after a firmware reset. Number 3, no software for Mac as usual. However, if you can get the QMK via variant, that shouldn't be an issue as it will allow you to program the PCB, be it on PC, Mac or Linux. Honestly speaking, there aren't that many good small form factor keyboards under $50, so I guess this is a decent option. This held up well in the long run. So far, I haven't seen any issue of PCB dying or whatnot, so we can kinda assume that this keyboard isn't going to show issues like its predecessors. And that's a relief, because so many people wanted to get their hands on this and I've said that you guys should wait and see. As for the competition, I think there aren't any if we consider the 65% form factor and wired variant. However, in the 75% range, there is this Aegis AK820 that has also a rotary knob. In 10 kHz format, there is Ola F87 and Jinmeng F87 with great switches and amazing sound. If you consider tri-mode and 65% and don't mind the lack of knob, the Monka 3067 Pro is a solid keyboard. It has good switches, gasket mounting, nice keycaps, tape-modded PCB, and overall it's a decent keyboard costing between $85,000 or less than $50. I will do a detailed coverage on this in coming days, so make sure to follow. So with everything out there, it's now up to you to decide. So with all that, I'm wrapping up for today. Thanks for tuning in. Goodbye and have a great day.